I like to call it. Oh, they didn't record? Oh, shoot. All right. So, first thing with business owners is instead of your income that's coming in, it's going to be called revenue. So that's the money that you make off your business. Now, your revenue is very important because each year as a business owner, you should be increasing your revenue. Just like when you're a worker, like for me, each year I increase my income by getting raises or picking up other side jobs that I do. So as a business owner, you want to focus on increasing your revenue. Why is this important? Because with business comes expenses. Just like in regular life, we have bills, we have expenses in your business. And you want to always make sure that your money coming in and the money going out are not at the same level. So money coming in should be up here, money coming out should be down here. Just like your regular budget. You don't want everything that you earn to be spent on bills because then you're going to be miserable. You're not going to get to enjoy your life. You're not going to be able to go get your hair done, your nails done, or go on vacation. So, as a business owner, your key goal is to make money. Always remember that. My company right now, we was running into an issue where our revenue and our expenses was coming neck to neck. So I had to figure out how to bring in more revenue into the business. And that's going to happen when you guys start your companies where at one point you're going to hit a plateau and you're going to be neck and neck and you got to figure out how to widen that gap. With an individual, you track your expenses with your budget, but as a business owner, you have your balance sheets, your cash flows, and your income statements. Those are going to be the three important financial statements you're going to have as a business owner. Your cash flow is going to tell you what money you have on hand. You always want to have cash. Can anyone tell me why cash is going to be important for you? And you could take a guess.
Because of like sudden opportunities.
Mm-hmm. If opportunities come up, you're going to need it. What else can happen to you where you would need cash?
Emergencies?
Yes, emergencies. Emergencies are going to be key. Emergencies happen in life all the time. We're going to do an activity that we're going to go over the different types of emergencies that happen. But with businesses, if you have equipment, it might break down. You may have to give refunds. My daughter, she sells wigs. And something that happened in her business that was happening a while ago was people were ordering wigs from her, getting the wigs, and then disputing the charges. So she had to learn how to fight that and how to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. She also had people that were running to return wigs. So in businesses, you have so many hiccups. So having cash on hand is going to be vital for you. The next one is a balance sheet. So you want to make sure that you know what you owe and what you own. And how I like to break this down is going to be your assets and your liabilities. I don't know if you guys have heard those two terms before. So your assets are what you own and your liabilities are what you owe. Anything in life, whether it's business or personal, you want to make sure that you have more assets than liabilities. Liabilities cost you money. Assets bring you money. So always remember that in life. The last financial statement is going to be your income statement. That's going to tell you what your profit is and what your loss is. Because when you're in business to make money, not to lose money. So you always want to know exactly what's going on with that. In your business, you have what we call different costs, which is your fixed versus your variable. So can anyone guess what fixed costs would mean? Fixed costs. What does the word fixed mean? If something is fixed, what
Adjusted?
can it not? Go ahead, Rima.
Would fix be like adjusted?
You can't adjust it.
Like
So
things that like you have to pay like every month that are the same.
exactly, that stay the same. Rima, adjusted is going to be variable. So that's going to be the things that change. So in fixed income, that's going to be like your rent, maybe your printing services. Those are going to be fixed income, fixed costs. Variable costs, adjustable costs are going to be things that change. They fluctuate with pricing. So like those are going to be things that change. So as a business owner, you want to understand the two different type of costs and make sure you know what's supposed to be coming in and out of your revenue. Any questions on that? No. You guys think that we could look through some scenarios and you tell me how this person can fix their money management? Okay, perfect. Okay. Is this print too small for you guys? Let me see if it's a. Is that better? Yeah? Okay, perfect. All right, so Maya, she's 17. She's a custom jewelry designer. She started making jewelry during COVID, and it took off really well. And she goes to pop-up shops. She sells on Instagram. She has an online business. So she makes about $800 to $1,200 a month in sales. So it's adjustable. It varies. Sometimes she gets paid, do different apps, Cash App, Venmo, and Cash at the when she's at the events. She keeps all her money in her personal checking account. So her expenses are about 200 to 400 a month. She has ads, $50. She has the booth for 75. She has packaging materials for 30. She has her phone bill and she has car gas for traveling. So her money management skills. She uses her regular checking account for everything, personal and business. She doesn't track her business versus personal spending, and she buys supplies with whatever money is in her account, which causes her to run out of money in supplies. And she has 3 overdraft fees in the last 3 months, doesn't have a separate savings account, and never thought about taxes. So, what are the red flags so far with Maya that we
She
went over
uses
yesterday and today?
she uses a personal checking account and not like a business account.
Very good, Summer. What else is the red flag?
She doesn't have like a budget or like doesn't know where her money's going.
Yup, she doesn't have a budget. So she doesn't have separate accounts. She's what we call co-mingling, which is not good. She doesn't have a budget. Anything else?
She
She
doesn't
has
have a savings account.
Yeah, she doesn't have the home bank account for the business.
She's had 3 overdraft fees in the last 2 months.
Yes, she had 3 overdraft fees, which tells us what Rima said. She doesn't have a budget. She doesn't know what's coming in and out. So what would be your advice to Maya?
to get a business account more for
Mm-hmm.
like checking and saving.
Yep. What else would you tell
Separate
her?
your accounts.
Say it again, Rima.
Separate your accounts.
Yes, definitely separate those accounts.
Have a budget sheet.
Budget. What do you guys think about her business? Do you think her business is a good business to have? There's no right or wrong answer. Do you think that she's doing good with her business, with her sales? She makes 1,200 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you think she could do to bring in more money? So right now she's just selling on Instagram and local pop-up shops. What else can she do to bring in more eyes on her business, more people to look at her business?
She could do like a collab with somebody
Mm-hmm.
that has
Yep,
like
she could do a
a logo.
collab. hmm Does anyone here know how to make custom beaded jewelry? Can she teach people that? She could teach people that how to make it. People will buy. That's something that she could do. Yeah. So she got a lot of stuff she got to work on. She definitely has to separate her bank accounts. She definitely has to work on her budget. But do you guys see how important it is to have budgets and the separate bank accounts after looking at this example? Do you see why it's important? What can happen when you don't have that stuff in place? Yeah. She's giving away $105 a month. She's only making 1,200 a month in sales. So she's giving away a lot of her money, and then she has a lot of money in expenses that she has to pay each month. So she's not walking away with enough money, and she's losing out. She's leaving money on the table is what we like to call it, leaving money on the table. Let's do one more. So we have Jamal. He does lawn care and landscaping. He has 15 regular clients, which is pretty good. He makes 1,200 a month consistently. He has extra jobs, 300 to 600 a month, and he gets paid mostly in checks and cash. And guess what? He has a business checking account, so that's good for him. Kudos to Jamal. He has pretty not too crazy expenses, but he wants to buy a better lawnmower, which is $800. What do you think, Jamal? First of all, what do you think about Jamal's situation? How do you think he's handling his situation? Do you think he's doing a good job?
I think he's doing a good job because he clearly has like a budget
Mm-hmm.
and he has a goal in place, like something to save for.
Yes, very good. What do you think he can do to help him reach his goal of getting his lawnmower?
Putting some money in a high yield savings account.
Very good, Ivy. He could put some money in the high yield savings account. That's good. What else can he do?
He can go to like different richer neighborhoods maybe.
Say it one more time.
He can go to like different richer neighborhoods since he's only doing it in his neighborhood.
Yeah, he can expand his business. Very good. What else can he do to get money for that lawnmower? We got two really, really good ideas.
Advertising.
Anyone? Say it again, Summer.
Advertising.
Advertising. Yep. Get more clients, advertising. What about a GoFundMe? You think he can ask for a GoFundMe to tell people, hey, I'm trying to get this new lawnmower? You got to be creative when you're a business owner. Got to get real creative. But I like Jamal. Jamal's doing a good job. He understands like the separate accounts. That's going to be key. He understands. I think he's doing good with his finances. He has a goal. But let's look and see what else he's done. So this is where it gets kind of complicated, Jamal. Let me go back. Hold on. I gotta learn how to work this PowerPoint with this one. Okay, so he's doing good until you find out that he doesn't have a savings account. So Ivy said he should put his money in a savings account, a high yield one. He pays himself by transferring out whatever at the end of the month. What did we learn about savings? What should come first?
Paying yourself.
Paying yourself first. And then he has no emergency fund and he hasn't thought about quarterly taxes. We're going to get into taxes later, but he hasn't thought about taxes. And then lastly, he's paid $36 in ATM fees. How can how can he avoid that $36 in ATM fees? We went over this on Tuesday.
By going to the ATMs provided by his bank.
Excellent, Ivy. Exactly. He has to go to the ATM provided by his bank because that would save him $36. So Jamal is doing good, but he can be doing better. He's doing way better than Maya. But this shows us that there's always room for improvement, and we have to use everything that we know about not just budgeting, but banking also to help us with our money management. Any questions on that so far? No? All right. So we're going to take a break. We're going to do a 10-minute break. And then when we come back, we're going to work on taxes. That's cool to everybody? All right. So 7:15, just come back. You don't have to leave Zoom. You could just turn your cameras off and mute yourselves. And I'll try to see if I could play some music. Let me see.
With Bureau AI, teams can get from brainstorm to breakthrough right into production.
Back. Cool. So we're back. We're talking about taxes. Taxes is a heavy topic, so I'm going to break it down as simple as possible for you guys. Let me just go to sharing my screen. Okay. So, has anyone ever heard of taxes? Do you know what taxes are?
Government, like money that's taken out of your, like any kind of purchase you make that goes to the government.
Yes. Very good. Exactly what it is. Is how government makes their money. And do you know what those taxes are used, what they use that money for?
Like to bring it back to the community and to like
Hmm.
cities.
Yep. So they use that money for schools, for cities, for highways. So it's basically money they take from us to make where we live more functional. So your city taxes, have you ever heard people say my taxes, this is my what my taxes are money is being wasted on? It pays for schools, libraries, museums, all that money that they get from us, they use it to make New York or America a great place to live that's functionable. Um, so they're unavoidable. There are ways to get around paying as much as some people pay, but at the end of the day, you have to pay taxes. Whether you pay a little bit or a lot, you're going to pay taxes. So let's first talk about taxes as a W-2 earner, which is what you guys will become when you get your first jobs. You're going to pay taxes there. Everyone has tax brackets that you're taxed at based on your income level. So the more money you make, the higher your tax bracket is. But I don't want you to think that just because you're making more money, you're not going to keep that money because of taxes. There's a formula that they use to help to figure out how much taxes you pay. The good thing is the tax code was written in favor for two people, the business owner and the investor. So once you understand that, you already are ahead of the game when it comes to taxes. You're not giving all your money back to the government. When you have a business, the government loves small business owners. So you have some advantages, some tax advantages, we call them deductions. And then when you're an investor, we're going to learn with retirement accounts, you also are given some deductions, you're given some reductions in your tax liability. So as you navigate through the world, when you leave your parents' homes and you start to come on your own, always remember taxes, everyone has to pay, but there are ways to reduce your tax liability. I like to say that taxes and death are the only things guaranteed in life because you're going to have to pay taxes and everyone's going to die eventually. Now, how many different types of taxes are there? Does anyone want to take a guess of how many different type of taxes there are? So we already named one, your income tax from your paycheck. What's another tax you pay?
Isn't there like a sales tax?
Exactly, there's a sales tax. What's another tax you pay?
States.
State? Mm-hmm. What about, does anyone have a home? Does their parents own a home? We call that property taxes.
Tax, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Property taxes. There's taxes on, they call it sin. That's taxes on like cigarettes and uh, alcohol and everything. You have capital gains taxes, which is taxes you pay on money you make from investing. And you guys have an investing class, so you're going to learn about capital gains. You also have corporate tax. So that's what corporations pay. So there's about 7 to 9 different types of taxes. So taxes is like everyone's burden in life. But once you learn how to navigate the tax world, you'll be okay. So when it comes to a W-2 earner, which is what you guys will start off as, your biggest thing with taxes is going to be your retirement accounts and your investment accounts. So I think it was Rima, you asked about the Roth, the investment, the retirement account on Tuesday. So how does that work? There are different types of retirement accounts. We're going to talk about two tonight. It's going to be your 401k and it's going to be your Roth. We spoke about Roth on Tuesday. I mentioned it. So how do those help you with your taxes? The government allows you to invest a certain amount each year in those accounts. And with the 401k, they give you, I believe it's up to 19,000. It might be 20,000 now. They change it each year. So when you invest that 20,000 into your retirement account, when you do your tax liability is reduced. So you get to put money into your retirement account for your retirement. You don't pay taxes on the money you put in there. The only time you pay taxes is when you take the money out when you're over 65 years old. The Roth account, you get taxed before you put in there, but when you take it out, you're not taxed. So that's one way that you can save money on taxes by using retirement accounts. Another way you're going to save money on taxes, like we spoke about, is being a business owner. And why does that save you money? Because you have what we call deductions. So remember when I spoke about your hair and nails possibly being a deduction for you if you do content? There are a lot of deductions that small business owners can take advantage of. For instance, my area right here, if you see my background in my house, this is my area where I teach and where I also do content for social media. So I get to write off this area on my taxes as an office space. If I have a car and I drive to appointments, I get to write off my mileage for that. I also get to write off if I buy uniforms for my business, I get to write that off. My books that are pertaining to my business, my laptop, my cell phone, my any equipment I buy that's pertaining to my business, this ring light that I got, all of this is write-offs. All my books over there are write-offs. All the courses I take are write-offs. So what that does is that reduces my tax liability. Because I'm also a W-2 earner, I have a job. Now when I do my taxes, I get to reduce some of the money that I earn as business. So this is why we say the tax code is in favor of the business owner. Because while I have a W-2, I also have a business. So everything that's done for my business that I buy, it helps me with my W-2, with my taxes. Everyone following along? It's good? Okay. Now, it sounds good, right? It's good. There's a bunch of books. Now, I'm going to get into it. When I go away on vacation, if I go away on vacation and I teach about finances, my vacation gets written off as a business trip. So if I went to Florida one year with my kids, I taught a financial class for my family. I did like a life insurance, let's get our finances together. I got to write that trip off. The flight, the hotel, any expenses I incurred down there on that trip, I get to write off. Sounds good, right? So you know how people really do it? They get property in DR. They rent it out as an Airbnb. When they go out there to check on it, they write that whole trip off as a business trip because they're checking on their property, but they're taking a vacation. Does that sound good? So that's a hack that you guys could do. When you get your business up and running and you decided to expand and maybe go into real estate, you could buy real estate in your favorite place you like to vacation, and you can go there and write that trip off as long as you're doing some type of business on the trip. So this is how the tax code is written to favor of the business owner. So always remember that. You can always have a W-2 job because I have a job. I'm a director. I have a career. But I also have my business because, like I said, it favors the business owners. Now, let's play. Let me see if that's all I want to talk about that. Now, we have a little more time because my throat is not hurting as much as I want. I want to show you guys one resource that for your next internship this summer. I want to show you guys one resource that I think everyone should write down in your book, in your notebook. So it's going to be Investopedia. This is going to be a website that I want you guys to really get familiar with, sort of like NerdWallet, for you guys to really understand your finances after this class, because one class is not enough for you guys. You're going to retain a little bit of the information, and then when you get to the real world, it's going to be, oh my God, what do I need again? How do I do this? So this website, Investopedia, is going to be another tool you're going to have in your tool belt to help you with understanding everything. So let's say we want to know about a Roth IRA. We're going to come here, we're going to type in Roth, and we're going to find articles all about the Roth. What should we do? What it is? How do you set it up? Because this is important because the Roth is something that you guys can start setting up now once you start earning income. And this right here can teach you how to set it up, who's eligible, where you go. Of course, you need your parents' help, parents to come in on this with you. But this is where you can go to learn more. Anything you want to know about banking, personal finance, this is going to be the place that you guys go for your resources. This finance world is a lot to grasp. But the good thing is that you guys are starting early. So the earlier you start, the more you learn, and the more you're not going to be fearful of money because you're going to understand how money works. So keep this here for your records. Let me see what else we got to go over. Okay. We went over owning a business. We went over credit accounts. Credit accounts, we can actually go deeper into when we do credit cards. But let me see. All right, we went over that. So any questions so far on taxes? You guys know you all have to pay taxes, right? But what's the hack to not paying as much in taxes? What are the two things I mentioned?
Starting a business,
Mm-hmm. And what else?
deductions.
Deductions, and investing. That's going to be your safe goal. Now, we're going to play a game, an activity. I want to test and see your budgeting skills. So, is everything on it? So you make 60,000 a year. So you got to take out your pens and papers for this one. You make 60,000 a year. You're taxed at 22%. Can someone do the math for me of what your take home pay is with your taxes? So you're gonna do 60 minus 22% and tell me what that is.
$46,800.
Yes, who said that? Awesome. All right, so we're making 46,800. Can you divide that by 26 weeks? 26?
1,800.
How much?
1,800.
1,800? All right. So that's how much you make every pay period, $1,800. So that's 3,600 a month you make. Now, your rent, write this down. Your rent is $1,500. Would that be a need or a want?
A need.
Need.
Good. That's $1,500. Your utilities, which includes electricity, water, and gas, that's going to be $300. Groceries are $400. Transportation is $200. Now, you can $200 for public transportation, or you can get a car for $500. You choose what you want to do because this is your budget. Do you want to go with the car or you want to do public transportation? Phone bill is going to be $50 a month. And then your health insurance is going to be $100. Now, out of this, how much money do you want to allocate to savings? How much money are you going to put aside for savings? Then figure out how much money you're going to put aside for going out to eat, your beauty and care, and your shopping.
What was the price we got after we subtracted something from 46,800?
Um, Divided by 26. We got 1,800. Mhm. So your monthly income that you're coming in is $3,600. So you're starting with 3,600, and then we're going to subtract all those expenses that I gave you guys. Everyone got their numbers? You figured out how much you're going to put for your hair, for your clothes. So when y'all ready, we're going to play a game. We're going to see how life works, even when you budget, how things change really quickly. Remember the lessons I gave you when it comes to your budget, you want your monthly expenses to be as low as possible. And you always want to make sure that you're putting money away for an emergency, for a rainy day. If you're done, just put a 1 in the chat, so I know you're finished.
What number are we subtracting all of our wants from?
After you do your needs, that number left minus your needs. Remember, with the transportation, you could either do the car for $500 or public for 200. So that's one choice I left for you guys, so you can know what that's the choice you're gonna make with your expenses. And then once your needs are paid, then you're gonna do your wants. So you see how much is left over, you subtract what you want to, if you want to go hang out, if you're going to make yourself a budget for hanging out, going out with your friends, for getting your hair and nails done, that's what you'll work on. And if you have any other questions about the expenses, just let me know and I can go over the numbers with you again. So remember, our monthly income after taxes is 3,600. Our rent is 1,500. Our utilities is 300. Our groceries and food is 400. Transportation can either be $200 for public or $500 for a car. We have a phone for 50, health insurance for 100, and then you guys subtract that total from your income, and then that's what you use to budget your wants. And don't forget a savings account. That's going to be crucial in this. All right, so we got some ones in the chat. Just waiting for a few more, and then we're going to get started. All right, cool. They're coming in. They're coming in. I'm gonna wait for a few more because we have some time, and then we're gonna spin the wheel to see what life happens. So this activity is to help you guys understand that first, how to actually put a budget together and what it entails. And then also for you guys to see that even sometimes when you plan a budget, things in life happen. So I think we're good to go now. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see what comes up with our budget. You got a flat tire. So who here had a car? Who here decided to get a car? Ah, so deduct 200. Do you have enough money left over, Alexis? Okay. All right, perfect. So that kind of stuff happens. Flat tire, you gotta pay for it. Next one. Let's see what happens. Co-pay for a doctor, minus $35. Did that hurt anyone's budget? No? Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Your phone broke. You got $100 deductible. Did anyone budget for that? No. Did it mess up anybody's budget? Did you lose any money? Are you broke yet? No? Okay. Interest earned from a high yield savings account. Who here had a savings account? Yay. So you add 250 to your thing. Because remember we told you high yield savings account is a way for you to earn money. So add 250 to your money left over after you budget. That's always a good feeling. My daughter sent me her high yield savings statement and she made $450 just from putting her money in it. So she's very, very happy. It's free money for everybody. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, we did phone broke, so we gotta close that out. Remove from the will because we did that one already. Ah, the rent got increased to 1,800. Now, before you deduct this, what are some things that you can do?
Probably
So
find a cheaper apartment.
yes, Evan, find a cheaper apartment because remember what we said we want to keep our expenses low. So we'll find a cheaper apartment because 1,800 is that's gonna be a lot for us if we only making 1,800 every 2 weeks. That's gonna be our entire check. We never want to do that. Want to always make sure we have money left over. A bonus at work, extra 250. Now, what are you gonna do with that bonus? I want to hear what you guys are gonna do with that bonus money.
Put it back into the high yield savings account.
Very good. Anybody else? Wait, got something in the chat. Anybody else? Everybody's gonna put it in a savings account? No one's gonna buy Uber Eats or get their nails done? Okay. All right. You guys are disciplined. I give you that. I give you that. All right. Let's go to the next one. Okay. You got another bonus at work. What you doing with that money? So you got two bonuses at work. Still high yield savings. Nothing on from TikTok shop. Nothing from hair done. No nails done. Ivy says she likes to shop, right? Ivy last class. So, so what we doing? We doing? Yep. All right. Oh, we keep getting. Let's take this off because we keep getting bonuses at work. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. We did this one already. Let's take that one out. We did a flat tire. Let's take that one. I gotta remember to take these out when we do it. We did this one. Let's take this one out. And what's next? All right. So you gotta buy a birthday gift for a friend. Are you guys gonna spend the whole $50? What are you doing? You telling your friend you ain't got it, or do you have money left over in the budget for that? Nobody's what you gotta do. You're gonna buy your friend a gift, or what we doing? We deducting that from the budget? Yes, no, maybe so. Right. I got one thing in the chat. Everyone's buying a gift. Okay, cool. You're a good friend. You're a good friend. All right, let's see what else is next. So we did that one already. Now, let me see who has money. Who still has money left over? Come on. Okay, tell me how much you have left over, Roxy.
I got $235 left over.
Nice. Who else has money left over? Nobody else? If you don't have money left over, it's okay. We can work through it. Nobody else? Anyone else? I got somebody in the chat. Isaac, Rima has 200. Good. Okay, 249. Good. 144. So what did you guys learn about budgeting?
You have to like manage your finances in a way where like you're still treating yourself, but you're still
Mm-hmm.
having that like like base where like you have savings, you have the
Mm-hmm.
emergencies because you never know what comes up.
Yep. Excellent. Anyone else? Very good, Rima. Was it hard to sit there and figure out your wants? I mean, the needs was kind of easy because I gave you the figures. The only thing you had to choose is whether you was going to get a car or not. But when it came down to your wants, tell me about how you decided how much you was going to spend on your hair or going out to eat or gifts or stuff. And you guys could put it in chat if you don't want to come off mute and tell me. Oh, he got 500. Okay, that's good. So was it hard to figure out your wants of how much you wanted to spend on stuff? A little bit hard? Yeah. What about savings? Was it hard to figure out how much you was going to put into savings? Kind of. Okay, a little bit. Yeah. This is where the 50, 30, 20 comes in because then you can use that formula to help you with that. But overall, do you guys feel like you'll do good with budgeting? Do you feel like, hey, now I understand how to budget better and I understand what to do? Everyone feels confident? Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, everyone feels confident. Yeah. I think you guys handled that very well. I did that with other classes and they ended up with nothing. Like they ended up with nothing left over when life wills started happening, they wasn't able to sustain that. And it's very important that even though it's like just an activity right now, it's super important for you to understand how the budget actually works. So with this budget that you guys just do you think that you can start budgeting the money that you get every day? Maybe that you get from your allowance, that you get from your if you have a job. Do you think you can handle that? Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Do you guys like budgeting apps? Do you like apps? Like, yeah. So this is one app that I use. I know we mentioned it, but I didn't show you. Let's go to Rocket Money. I don't know. For some reason, my computer is not going to Google first. It's going to Yahoo. There's nothing against Yahoo, but so this is one app that I use, Rocket Money. And the reason why I like Rocket Money is because it actually helps me stay on top of my spending. It gives me spending reports, so it lets me know how my months of spending went and where I can go in and fix stuff. It helps you with subscriptions because subscriptions are one thing that people always get and they never cancel. Like they'll order something one time and then you don't cancel it. All of a sudden you're paying all this money each month in subscriptions. So this is a tool that you can use. There's also free tools because that one costs money. There's also free tools for students that you can use as well. Let me just pull that up real quick for you guys. So you have Greenlight. You also have Gold Henry, Busy Kid. So these are apps that you guys can use that are free to help you with budgeting because some people like to write their budget down on a piece of paper. Some people like to use a spreadsheet. But the thing is that it really doesn't work unless you go back to it. When I first moved out of my parents' house when I had my daughter, I used to write all my bills down on a piece of paper. And each month, I would say when I wrote it down, I was supposed to have $300 left over, and every month I didn't have $300 left over. There was a hole in my budgeting because I wasn't going back and checking it. So these apps help you go back and make sure if you say you're going to spend $200 on Uber Eats a month, you actually spend $200 on Uber Eats a month. What I found was that I would go grocery shopping and still buy food. And that doesn't make sense. Like if you're going grocery shopping, you're going grocery shopping so you can cook your own food and save. So these are kind of things that happen when you start budgeting, that learning right now how a budget actually works is you're going to avoid those loopholes. I call them holes. Like money starts coming in, it's like a hole in your pocket. So the budget is going to help you with that. And having an app is really, really going to help you guys with making your budget go full circle around. So we're gonna take a 5 minute break to give you guys a break because I've been talking a lot and you guys been working. And then when we come up back, we're gonna wrap up everything. Is that cool with you guys? If we finish a little earlier tonight? Okay, perfect. So
Well,
5 minute break. So
just a note too.
7:55.
Just a note too. We do have a Mentimeter for tonight. So there's one additional activity.
Okay. So come back at 7:55. And then we're gonna answer some questions, wrap up, do a recap of everything. All right, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. All right, guys.
No.
Okay. Go out. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're gonna do a wrap up now. So I'm gonna ask you guys a series of questions. We're gonna have a discussion. So first thing, what kind of accounts are there? What two accounts did we go over throughout the series?
Checking and saving.
Checking and savings. Good. Tell me a special type of savings account.
High
A
yield
high yield
savings.
savings account.
Excellent. High yield savings. Tell me why high yield savings is the preferred account for us to have.
Builds up your money.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Builds up your money. Mm-hmm. Tell me about interest rates. We went over interest rates on Tuesdays. On Tuesday, not Tuesdays. On Tuesday, we went over interest rates.
That it's money you pay back, but it's more.
Yes. So when you borrow interest, because nobody gives you money for free. If they lend you money, they're going to charge you for it. So when it comes to interest rates, when we're borrowing money, do we want that rate to be high or low?
Low.
Excellent. When it comes to interest rates, when we're saving money, do we want that rate to be high or low?
High.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Who controls the interest rates? Like what company, not a company, but what name did I guys give you that controls interest rates, that controls banking?
The Federal Reserve.
Yeah, exactly. The Feds. The Feds control it. Very good. And when money is too easy, is money costs when the interest rates are low and people are borrowing money, what can that do to the economy?
Of inflation.
Yes, inflation, because money starts to lose value. So we want to have a sweet spot with that. But as a business owner, do we want to be able to have low interest rates when we're borrowing money for our business?
Yes.
Yes, because we want to be able to borrow money at a cheaper cost. So the Fed's job is to find that balance. Perfect. Anyone could tell me what is the purpose of a budget?
To manage your money.
Manage your money. And what else does a budget help you to do? Manage your money.
Stay on track so you don't overspend.
Exactly. And those two examples we gave about the students that had their business, what was one of them doing that was a red flag for us? We
Mixing.
had Maya and Jamal.
Oh, the first person, he
hmm
was they had their personal and business account in one account, so they didn't have separate accounts.
Yep, exactly. Very good. They was commingling. We do not like commingling. We wanted separate. What was the other one's problem? Jamal, he had the lawnmower business. What did we find wrong with his whole setup?
That
He
the
didn't have a savings account.
Did not have a savings account. Very good. He did not have a savings account, and he wasn't thinking about taxes. So we have to be, as business owners, we have to be mindful of that. To talk about taxes, what do taxes do?
they're collected from the government to go back to the people.
Exactly. And who pays taxes? Everybody. Who does the tax code favor? There are two people the tax code favors.
Businesses and investors.
Exactly, business and investors. How does the tax code favor business owners? What are those things that we get to do with our money?
Deductions.
Deductions. That's our favorite word. We love, as a business owner, we love deductions. We get to deduct anything that has to do with our business. So books, remember I told you the books I buy that has to do with finance, I get to deduct that. Any courses I take to help me with improving my skills and my knowledge, I get to deduct that. This section in my house is deductible, mileage, cell phone, equipment, all deductible. And that helps us out. Now, as a W-2 earner, how do we save money on taxes? What are the accounts that we need to have?
Business checking?
Um, for the investment accounts as a W-2 owner.
High yield
Us?
savings.
Retirement, like account.
Retirement.
Retirement and
Retirement accounts, yes. High yield savings is good, Roxy, but we need those retirement accounts. What are the two retirement accounts I mentioned?
401k and Roth IRA.
Very good, very good. So which account can you guys start now?
401k.
You can start, if you have a job, you could do the 1K, but right now without a job, you can start the Roth account. So the Roth account is going to help you guys start putting money away for retirement. Because who here wants to work till they're 65 years old? Let me see you raising hands. Oh, okay, because y'all on the same page as me. I don't want to be at 65 years old getting up on the train going to work. I want to be in Costa Rica laying down relaxing. So we want to start now that savings. Now, when it comes to budgeting, what are the categories we have in our budget?
saving wants an
Mm,
emergency.
Yep, savings, needs, and wants. Okay. What is some budgeting styles we can use to help us with our budget?
50, 30, 20.
Excellent. 50, 30, 20. So 50% of our money goes to our needs, 30% goes to our wants, and 20% goes to our savings and investment. Why are savings and investment an important part of our budget?
Emergencies.
Emergencies happen. Yeah, emergencies happen. We have to have it. We saw that emergencies happen where we had a copay, we had this happen. So we want to always have money. If you don't have money for emergency, you're going to end up going into debt. And debt is not a good thing that we want to go into. We want to make sure that we have money to cover stuff. And then you don't want to be stressed. Don't want to be like, oh my God, how am I going to pay this $50 copay? I don't have the money saved up. When it comes to savings, who do we save our money first or do we pay bills first?
Pay bills.
Say it again.
We pay our bills first.
We pay our bills first. Yes. Can our savings account be a bill that we pay first? Yeah. So remember, always you want to put money to your savings account first, even if it's $20 or $10 or $5. We want to start putting money away first because we are the priority. Yes, your bills got to get paid, but your savings got to get paid first. That's one lesson I learned when I worked for one of this investment firms. I asked one of the wealthy guys there, what's your secret to building wealth? He says, I pay myself first. Always remember to pay yourself first. How many different types of taxes are there out there?
About 7.
Seven, yep, 7 to 9. Very good. They tax everything. You get taxed on sales, property, corporate income, all that stuff gets taxed. So we're gonna learn how to play the tax game. Let me see what else we can go over. When it comes to fees, bank fees, what are the bank fees? What do banks charge fees for? This is from Tuesday's class.
To give as loans to other people.
Yep, they do charge with interest, they make money off of that. What about overdraft fees? Yeah. What about ATM fees? How do we avoid ATM fees?
By going to an ATM machine that our bank provides.
Excellent, excellent, Roxy. How do we avoid overdraft fees?
By setting alarms and tracking our spending.
Very good, Ivy. We're going to track that spending. How much money did they make off fees from us in 2023? Do you anybody remember the number?
5 billion.
Yep, over 5 billion. Crazy amount of money. That's crazy. They taking 5 billion from us. We don't want to give away no free money. We want to keep all the money in our pocket because we want to put that into our savings and our investment account. When it comes down to your budget, when it comes down to your needs, how do you make sure that you're not spending all your money on your budget? What are you going to be doing on your needs? What are you going to be looking for? I'm gonna give you guys a little push for that. You want to make sure that your expenses are not as low as possible. So for instance, we had two options on the budget. We had either we can get a car or public transportation. And because we wasn't making that much money, some people said, you know what, I'm going to do public transportation. We also saw in the spin the wheel that our rent was increasing. And I think it was Evan said, we're going to find a new place to live. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your expenses for the ones that you can as low as possible. Of course, we're going to have to pay our rent, but when we go grocery shopping, we can use coupons. We can buy things on sale. We can, when it comes to utilities, because my utility bill right now is crazy with the space heaters and the oven on because we don't get good heat here. I'm spending like $300 a month for Con Edison. So I've been unplugging everything. It's just like you finding ways to save money because it's like it's crazy. And when my son comes home to visit for the summer, my Con Edison bill last August was $600 because of his game system, because of the ACs. So you got to find ways to lower those costs because that's what's going to help you out in the long run. Oh,
Miss
Roxy, you
Sam,
had it. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna just address that. Roxy asked, and I'm
Yeah, I was
assuming
about to
you're
say.
asking,
Mhm.
yeah, about the bounce check. Is that what you were asking about, Roxy? Okay, Miss Sam, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys probably like, what's a check? Check is way
Yeah.
back in nowadays where you before the debit cards became big, you wrote checks for everybody, for every to pay every bill. So
Mhm.
some people they would call balance your checkbook. You had a checkbook where you wrote out the check number, the amount, the person. So sometimes people wouldn't do all that tallying because back in the day, like I said, um budgeting was done on a piece of paper. And it's funny
Mhm.
because this winter I did a massive clean out of everything and I found my old budget paper that I had when I moved out. And I saw me writing down everything and I had the date because it was a bill. But sometimes when you have it like that, you forget about bills that you paid because it doesn't come out right away. It takes weeks to come out of your checking account. So that's why the debit card is so more practical because when we swipe, they take the money out right away. So when she said don't bounce your checks means don't put out too many checks that you don't have enough money in your account to cover, which is what overdraft fees are now. That's what the overdraft fees are. So I know you was like a check. What's a check? But that's back in the day.
They're still used. Don't make us seem that old. They're still used. Maybe not as much, but
Even when I see checks at work, I'm like, who's still writing a check? But yeah, everything now is moving to digital, which has its pros and its cons, you know.
but I think it's
So,
I'm sorry,
mhm,
Miss Sam. I think it's also important, though, that they understand the necessity of a check because
mhm,
just being able to write a check, not a lot of students know how to write checks. And I think that it's
mhm,
just the basic fundamentals of banking
yeah,
is to know how to write a check, right? How to sign,
mhm,
where to sign, how to, put the where to put the numbers, why you have to write the
mhm,
number out, why it's important, to make sure that you're signing the check and no one else is signing for you, and how the bank identifies
mhm,
your signature based on that check. And so there's a lot, that you should know about the checks because although it might sound a bit antiquated, meaning old school, it
mhm,
is still very much a part of financial our financial lifestyle and how
yeah,
we do business. So I don't want to negate that or discount that because checks are very
mhm. They
necessary.
are. And it also right now we get paychecks. Even though they're digital, they're direct deposit, we still
Right.
get a paycheck each pay period. So maybe I'll add that to the lesson for banking to add that to the will for people to know. Yeah, because sometimes when you're in the modern world, you forget about those little things that you have to know. It's like, oh, what's a check? What's a checkbook? But yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's something. It's something now with all the tapping of the phones.
Right.
It's
And I used
crazy.
to work at a bank. So
I worked at a bank too. Yeah, I worked at Independence. That's no more. I worked at
hmm
Independence Bank, so I had to do a lot of banking stuff, counting a lot of money with my hands and
yeah.
all that great, great, great stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see, you guys really did really well with the review. Like, give yourself a round of applause. Money, talking about money is not easy. It's like it's so many different feelings, it's so many different things. And it's a lot of information, and I try to give you the foundation of it because I want you to learn to build on it. Those two websites I gave you, Investopedia, and NerdWallet, those are going to be some great resources for you guys so you can really take this to the next level because this is just the foundation of what you need to know about money, banking, and budgeting. But like I said, when you become on you when you get on your own, it's gonna be way different. Like figuring out what you're gonna spend your wants on, how much you're gonna put into your savings. You're gonna be tempted sometimes. You're not gonna want to put 10% into your savings account, but I want you to understand that that is the key that's gonna separate you throughout your life. Once you have that cushion of a savings account, you are it's gonna do wonders for you. I use the budget a lot. I use the budgeting apps a lot because it took my budgeting to the next level. I'm excited about this savings book because I'm excited to see how I get to progress with this. Of course, I'm gonna put some of the money in a high yield savings because we don't want to lose out on opportunity to make money. But this right here is a starting point for me. So as you guys go through your journey, and as you go through the series, actually, just continue to have an open mind about everything, about learning new things. And even if it's scary, just embrace it. Write it down. If it doesn't make sense to you right now, it's going to make sense later on. There's so many things I learned that come to me, click to me later on in life. So make sure you always write it down. This is a book that I'm reading now to help me with teaching. So I'll put it in the chat so you guys can get it. I read a lot of books on finance, and I take a lot of classes that help me to be able to give everybody that I teach the information that they need. Because there's a lot out there, and you can get lost in all the information that's out there, and then people don't explain things the way it's supposed to be. So I always tell people to always do your due diligence. I always give people resources that they can go study on their own because I feel like that's super important. And if anyone has any questions about anything we covered tonight or anything else, you can come off mute and ask me. We have a little bit of time left over.
I know Professor Jay has the Mentimeter we're going to administer, and that's going to be our pre-course Mentimeter. I believe it's about 20 questions. And it'll just kind of cover the just some general questions of some of the classes you guys will be taking to include this one.